Just a real quick introduction to what you're going to see in this new video. Cold start on the FiTech, hot start on the FiTech, IAC setting on the FiTech, as well as the Scout moving down the street under its own power for the first time in 20 years. Greetings. Finally coming out of the big freeze here in Texas, and wanted to do something. I was going to do this before when it was really cold, we had snow on the ground, but I was a bit hesitant because the engine does have 2050 oil in it, which is really thick, and I just didn't want to start it with 2050 oil in it when it was below 20 degrees outside. I think it was 14 degrees one time I was thinking about doing this, another time it was 7, and I just didn't want to do it. So you see here, coolant temperature 39 degrees. So, all right, so this is for checking the IAC setting on the FiTech Easy Street. This is the 600 horsepower model. I know this international engine will never come close to 600 horsepower, but this is the one I got because it had the best deal price wise, and so that's the one I went with. So this is how I set my IAC, and hopefully this light doesn't glare too bad. But so what you do is you go into the initial setup, and you go into the idle setup, set this idle set mode 0, set that to on, send it to the ECU. Make sure you send to the ECU. And then this is, of course, this is done with the engine running. So you'll make sure you have the engine running, and you'll do your large gauges. And you can just come down here to IAC, have that on, and then you'll see your IAC setting. Now, of course, the engine's not running on this, so you can hear me talk, but when this is running, this is the figure that you'll go off of when you're setting the IAC. So to set the IAC, basically what you're doing is this screw right here. Hopefully you can see that comes out okay. This screw right here is you're going to turn this either in or out depending on what your IAC is. And then what you're doing is you're trying to get the desired IAC is somewhere between 0 and 10. Now, if you get it, you'll see in the video when I first start setting this, I get a good IAC. It was like somewhere kind of in between 0 and 4. But my idle got to where it was idling at like 1100 RPM and not coming down. So I had to go back and come back the other way with it a little bit. So if you get it where your IAC is in this range of 0 to 10, but your idle's too high, then you need to come back the other way, and runs really good. So I should have set this a lot sooner. Probably the first start or two, I should have set this, and because there's a huge difference on how it's running. So you know that when we'll get the IAC adjusted too, and see if we get this little. Here's the IAC. You can see it's terribly off right now, so I'm going to adjust on this to see if we can get this dialed in a little bit better.
I've been adjusting on it. And I've got it down. Still got a ways to go though. It needs to be between 0 and 10. So I'm going to keep bringing this down just a little bit. Already sounding way better. That's a massive improvement, I think. So we're up to 186 now. One thing that was interesting is during that warm-up cycle, I didn't hear any of the engine noise that I documented in the last video. So it's interesting. I don't know. I haven't changed anything. All I did was I changed the oil before that last start, and I put the bottle of the zinc additive in. So I don't know if maybe that stuff's finally taken hold or what, but nothing has changed. And it is hot, 192. Haven't had any of the sounds from previously. No oil pressure on the gauge. Rev it up, I get it, but at least it's not making the noise it was before. Let's do a hot start test. Pretty good. One thing I've noticed on YouTube is there's really not a lot of newer
FiTech content on there, that at least that I can find anyway. Seems like anytime I search for FiTech videos, they're always a few years old. The interface is the old style. I really don't see much for a newer FiTech system, so hopefully this content will be useful, and not just to international people either. I mean, if it'll work on an international 345, it's going to work on a Chevy 350, Ford 351, whatever you got, it's going to work. So if you're interested in this FiTech, if you're thinking about getting one, be sure and subscribe, because I'll continuously do FiTech updates and such on how it's going, and hopefully get some new relevant content out there to help people. So thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe and follow along.